Hearing from a man in the East who has settled his wrongful arrest lawsuit with a town in the East, and also what the town is saying about it. Pastor Darron Carmon received $4.4 million from Winterville's insurance carriers after courts say he was wrongfully convicted of armed robbery back in 1994. Carman, who was 19 years old at the time, was released in 2001 for good behavior. His conviction was overturned in 2022, and Carman received a pardon from Governor Roy Cooper last month. Carman claimed officers fabricated and omitted critical evidence that caused him to be convicted. The town of Winterville said today, quote, "The town repudiates Mr. Carman's claims of wrongdoing by the town and its officers in the strongest possible terms. As part of the settlement, all parties specifically agreed that neither the town nor the officers admitted to any wrongdoing. While the town believes strongly that there was no wrongdoing by the town or its officers, the town is pleased to have this matter resolved and is ready to move forward," end quote. And Pastor Carman is with Dave Jordan now here live in our studio for his perspective. Dave?
All right, thanks, Courtney. And Pastor Carman, thanks for joining us here today.
You're welcome.
And so we heard there that you, of course, spent 8 years in prison. You were released for good behavior. You then had that conviction set aside, and the governor then also gave you a pardon, and now you've settled with the town of Winterville. What does all of this mean to you?
To some extent, it's a relief. As far as, responding to what Winterville is saying, I don't think there's a response that's necessary. I think that the Pitt County courts have spoken. I think that Governor Cooper, with the pardon of innocence, has spoken. I think the settlement itself has spoken also. And so now we have 4.4 million more reasons why it is that Winterville was actually wrong.
As part of that settlement, we heard, though, that the agreement was they didn't admit wrongdoing, and you didn't admit that they were wrong either. You have certainly been through a lot over the years, and you kept fighting over and over, maintaining your innocence. Why not take this to court as well and have a jury decide?
Because we got to where we need to be. And so the insurance providers didn't really want to take it to court, and that's the reason why they settled. And so, and I did say that they were wrong for what they did. And so, but yeah, the insurance providers concluded that they didn't want to take it to court. And so then we didn't go to court. So they settled with what I actually wanted.
Is this justice for you?
It is. It is. I think that the only issue is the lack of acknowledgement. I think that is an issue because you cannot fix what you do not face. And so that means to me that is subject to happen again to somebody else.
Does this hold the town and the officers accountable?
They're not holding themselves accountable. I did, but they're not holding themselves. It's kind of like someone did something, but they keep saying, I didn't do it, but they did. And so they're not holding themselves accountable. And that's problematic for our community because who's next? If you're not going to acknowledge every time someone who looks like me says that there's been an injustice, you always say you didn't do anything wrong. There's nobody perfect like that. And so everybody makes mistakes.
What would you say to the officers that were involved in this?
To the officers, I would say that one should or could still, recognize the wrong that was done. That's the only thing that I would say.
And we know from the lawsuit and also from past interviews that the time that you spent in prison certainly took its toll on you mentally, emotionally, physically. How are you today, and what are your plans?
I don't think that anyone can spend 8 years in prison and not be impacted by it. And so it has affected my life. I'm just able to use it for some good. And that's where me serving the community and just doing a bunch of things for other people comes in. That, it's the way I deal with my own pain is by helping other people heal from theirs.
And we also know that during that there was a suicide attempt at one point in prison. Looking back to that point now, some very dark times for you. It
was. It just got so bad I didn't want to breathe. I didn't want to see. I had nothing to look forward to. Breathing hurt me. Waking up hurt me. And so I didn't want to wake up anymore. And so that was my only way of escape from that situation. And so that's the reason why I did that.
Did you think that at that time that you would see this moment in time?
Well, I didn't, because at that time I was trying to end it all, you know. But I am thankful that after that moment that I continued to fight. Even when I was in prison, I would write letters different places, you know, declaring my own innocence. And it's been 30 years. And so it feels good to get to this place. Most people think it was 2 years when I was exonerated in 2022. It's been 30 years. We just reached the exoneration in 2022. But this has been a 30-year fight. And I'm grateful to God that I have made it to this place.
All right, Pastor Carman, thank you for joining us this
you.
afternoon.
I appreciate it.
Sure thing. Courtney?
All right, thank you, Dave. And you can read more about this story and the town of Winterville's response to the $4.4 million payout on our website, WITN.com.